Welcome, everybody, to Boone's Corner. We sit down with the Silver Slugger, Gold Glove winning second baseman, Major League Baseball alumni, Bret Boone, joining us here. I'm Rich Herrera from Wildcats Radio 1290. Boone, how are you?
Doing great, Rich. Good to be with you.
You know what? We don't have any baseball to talk about. Major League Baseball still in the lockout. The two sides can't get together, and now they've decided to cancel the first couple of weeks of the season. Reaction?
It came down about the way I thought it was going to come down.
You called it last week.
Yeah. Why you need to cancel games already, I don't know. I mean, that may be setting the bar on what the owners expect going forward. We just got into an urgent moment in the negotiations the last 2 weeks. And like in any negotiation, unless there's urgency, there's no reason to get a deal.
Hold on a second. Is urgency the same as leverage?
Well, nothing's going to get done until the 11th hour. It never does. I never thought it was going to get done. If they're going to wait all offseason to get to this point, my question is this: since the players are locked out, what can they recapture as far as salary wise? Because they're saying we're ready to play. We got our equipment. Let's go, and we're locked out. I'd like to see how that shapes out when they end up getting a deal, if that's negotiated into the deal, like all this back pay will be paid in full.
Leverage is a big thing when it gets to this point of negotiations, because if you and I are negotiating and I have no leverage, there's no reason for you to give me anything that I'm asking. The same back and forth with you. So as you get to this point of the season, and we're now not in spring training, I should be going to spring training games right now. You should be down at spring training right now. Somebody's looking for leverage. Players, I think on this point, might be in the best position they've ever been, because they're not being portrayed as greedy people looking for more. The owners are the ones that are starting to get beat up a little bit, because Rob Manfred has led them down a path. And I look at the media, I look at the fans, you look at social media. Right now, it looks like the players are winning the PR battle.
And I think you're right. And I think we're in a different time. 2022. This is the first time that we've had social media.
Right.
And I didn't know how that was going to play out. It could be a detriment. It could be players on there willy-nilly just tweeting. But it seems like they've been very calculated in their tweet. I saw a tweet from Mike Trout, arguably the best player in the game. It was very measured. It was very professional. And you're right. It makes the players look good. I also saw Rob Manfred step to the podium on MLB Network. That wasn't very good optics. He didn't come off well. He didn't come off as, those owners, we're going to get on the owner side. It was more of I think you're right. I think the fans, the people on social media, they're in the players' corner right now. That's a positive thing. That's something throughout the course of time. We've never had that luxury of having the public support on our side, being the player side.
So right now we're in an impasse. I got March Madness getting ready to start.
Mm-hmm.
I got the NFL Combine going. I got the NBA playoffs. Here's what scares me, Bret Boone. And I've worked in the game for 20 years. What do people forget about us?
I think we're in jeopardy okay, let me say this. Baseball, it's the greatest pastime. It's our game. It will always come back. How long? I don't know. Once again, different era, 2022. There's a lot of options out there to entertain people these days that we didn't have 20 or 30 years ago. I think it's a dangerous path you're going down, but it goes back to this. And we talked about this in the last segment, Rich. The owners play the long game, and They think about 10 years from now, what is my franchise worth? It's going to be double whether I get an agreement right now. If I can squeeze these players and get a little more, they just think strictly economics. 10 years from now, what is my bottom line? And their people are telling them, we can take this hit in the short term. We can piss off some fans and still get through this okay. And your bottom line in 2032 is going to be exactly where we projected it. Time will tell on that.
And by the way, in 2032, Mike Trout's out of the game, and the next superstar is playing high school baseball right now. I can outweight anybody long term if I'm an owner.
True, but I'm also very impressed with today. You know, the big question was with the economics today, with the players making so much money, how are they going to be able to toe that line, that union line? What I'm seeing is as solid of a players union as I've ever seen. We had our struggles in 1994. We had guys that were chirping on the outside. Let's just get back and play the game. That doesn't help you in negotiations. Those owners see that. They see that.
They're looking for that blood in the water.
They're looking for that. I'll tell you what, with the social media, that's what I was worried about was, somebody's going to go crazy on social media and give those owners a reason to back away from the table. I'm seeing quite the contrary, quite the opposite. I'm seeing the solidarity like I've never seen it from the union side.
From my perspective, as someone who covered the game for as long as I have, the one thing I think the players have that united them before, because before, listen, I've said this before, you're going to disagree with me. It's not a union, it's a guild, because not everybody gets paid the same. Not everybody gets the same benefits. Some people make a lot, some people make a little. It's more of a guild than it is a union. But with that being said, this time around, I don't see any cracks in the foundation of the player stance, because I think all the players understand suppressing players into the minor leagues to keep them from getting free agent eligibility a year early as opposed to a year later, keeping them from getting to arbitration. I think that's something that everybody in the PA can get behind, and I think it's united them in a way that none of these other labor negotiations that I've ever covered have ever done.
I agree with that. And I also think, guys, it's really important for the iconic players in the game presently, AKA Max Scherzer, is one of the lead negotiators on that player at the top of the players union. He's coming out about as strong and as unified as you possibly can. When a young player, a guy coming up out of the minor leagues, a guy on the 40-man roster, a rookie that's making the league minimum, he sees a guy like Max Scherzer step to the forefront and say, no, this isn't a good enough deal, and we're going to stand our ground. That pulls a lot of weight with those younger players.
And with Max Scherzer, as much money as he makes, that he's willing to risk
without a doubt.
Paycheck, he's out there in front of everybody else saying, I'm willing to risk more than everybody else. All right, what's next?
I think you're going to see a little posturing. I think that on the owner side, they're going to do a little research on their side and see what their data people are telling them. How angry are the fans? How much is this going to cost us? I think they're going to start to see those numbers, that some of the sympathy is going to the player side. And I use that term a little loosely. I don't mean sympathy, but the fans getting on the player side, it's something that the owners have never seen before.
They've won the public opinion. Absolutely.
Right. They've never seen that before, and we've never seen that before in our game. And I think the social media aspect is really led to, for the first time, the players having a real voice out there in the public.
Bret Boone, thank you so much. Don't forget, check out the Boone podcast. Bret just sat down with Diamond Dallas Page. Pretty fun podcast. Got a couple of the big stars coming up as well.
Definitely different. Thanks, Rich.
All right, take care. That's the Boone Boone's Corner for today. Check out Boone's the podcast. Corner. There you go. I like that.